Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in the last video we saw like how we can set up the Jenkins, right, in using the Docker. So if you see my Jenkins is up and running. That's what we did in the last video. If you go to the command prompt, if you see here, right, this is the command prompt where we executed Docker run Jenkins. So it's running. So if you want to see, we can open in some other command prompt and we can see if you say Docker ps, so you can see that this is up and running up 2 days. So I'm just creating this video after 2 days, but this Jenkins container, right, container, or you can say new machine, virtual machine, this is up and running. So you can see this machine using the local host 8080. So this is what we are seeing now. Since we discussed, okay, this is the container, right, Jenkins is a virtual machine. It needs, when you execute any test case, so it will execute in the nodes in our local machine. Okay, it will create some space in our local machine where it will execute that. So we, for that purpose, we have to create nodes. Okay, so let's see how we can create node, and then we'll be able to understand more about nodes. But before that, let's create the node. So for creating the node, let me see. So let me create one node. Before that, let's delete this, we don't need it. Or let's see, like okay, I will check maybe from where I can delete this. So maybe I can delete it from history. Okay, this is the build history. Okay, we will see later. So let me create one new node first, and then I will explain you something. Okay, so right now if you see, we have two nodes. One, we have Docker. So Docker is nodes that is created by that is created by us only. Let me see, maybe I can configure, and I go here and delete. Yes, so this is what I wanted to do. Now I have only one node that is called master. Master means our this Jenkins, the master. That's what we discussed in this diagram. Let me open this diagram, right? So this Jenkins is the master, this virtual machine that we run, like Docker run Jenkins, right? So that is the master, and we know this master, this Jenkins don't have Docker, right? Now let me create first one new node, and then we will see. So you just create the new node. So you know the steps. First, you go to the build executed status, and then you click on the new node, and then provide the name of the node. So you can provide any name you want. So I'm providing Docker. Okay, and then just select this option like permanent agent. Okay, so it will have some type of like the default things you will take, and just click on move. So this node, friends, so number of executors, what does this mean? Like, okay, how many instances of this execute, like this node you want to create? So if I say 3, it means there will be 3 nodes. So when you run your test cases, it will try to execute in 3 nodes. Okay, so there is a 3 instance of this Docker. And remove root directory. So if you see this diagram again, so this container here, this Jenkins master is a virtual machine, and our host machine is the slave machine. So this is where we are creating the nodes, because we will execute it here, right? So when you create the nodes in the slave, because see, when you do it in maybe in the like real time, maybe you will have 3 or 4 machines, so you can create multiple slave machines. But for our learning purpose, we only have one machine. So I'm creating the slave in my host machine itself. So when you create slave machine in your host, you have to provide the path, okay, which where it will create the slave. So you can give any path. So okay, I will say, okay, I will say here, I will create one new folder maybe, and I will say Jenkins underscore slave. So this is the path, right? This is where we want to create the nodes, okay, in our host machine. Okay. So now if you see this diagram, maybe now you will be able to understand, right? So this container Jenkins is running in the virtual machine, and our nodes we are creating in the slave machine, that is our host machine. That's why we are providing our host see user's path, right? So that's it. Now let's go down and see if you need to do anything. Node properties, no, just save it for now. So now our nodes is created, Docker. But if you see, this is offline. This cross mark means it's offline. Means now we have two machines. One, if you see this diagram again, so we have two machines. One is the Jenkins master virtual machine and our nodes in our local host machine. So Jenkins will be not able to communicate. This is like offline mode. So to make it online, like so that the Jenkins, the virtual machine, will be able to communicate. So for that purpose, what we have to do, let's click here. Okay, see, it's saying run from agent command line. So you have to execute this from the command line. But before you do that, we have to download the agent.jar. Okay, so let's download that agent.jar. So we need to download one jar. So agent, that's agent.jar, download in your browser, Google. And this is, we are saying, okay, it's saying download agent.jar. So it's Java, it's saying here, um, let's download it from the Oracle. Okay, so we just want to download this, right? Let's see. I think something just let's go to Google and see. Google download agent dot jar. Let's see. Okay, friends. So actually, yeah, we can download not from the Google, but actually we can download it from here only. So we can just click here, the agent jar, and it will download. So it's saying okay, okay, keep agent jar was blocked because of this type. So let's say keep. Okay, so now we downloaded it. Okay, so let's go to this path. Let's see where it is. It's in the download folder, right? So let's copy it from here maybe, or you can keep it here, doesn't matter. Okay, you can keep it here, but what we have to do is like, okay, we have to go to the command prompt to the same place, where we have it. So you can run this agent from going to this path to the command prompt. So let's go to the command prompt here and say cd space this, and then you can just copy this command here. Okay, if you execute this from this command prompt where we have this agent and do it here like this and say enter, so now it will now if you go here in the refresh this browser again, see agent docker, now this is online. It means now the Jenkins master can connect to this agent that we have created. If you go here, let me show you. See this build executor status. Okay, so we have now Docker and master. There are two nodes are there, but in the Docker we have 1, 2, 3 because we said 3. If you know, right, you can say 1, 2, 3 whatever you want. If you go to the Docker and configure, if you go here, if you go to this configure, see we have said 3. That's why there are 3 nodes created. Okay, if you say 2, it will be 2. And also launch method, it's a launch agent by connecting to the master. Okay, so that's fine now. Let's see now. Now, friends, when you run any script, any automation script, what it will do, it will look, okay, what are the nodes are there, which is available. So it will say, okay, there are 2 nodes in the master, 3 nodes in the Docker. So suppose you have 5 test cases, every one test case will be executed in each node, and then others will be waiting and go. But in the master node is our Jenkins itself, right? Where if you see this diagram again, so this is our master, and we don't have Docker here in this. We only say Docker run Jenkins. So if it don't have master Jenkins, the script will fail there, right? So what we can do, um okay, before we do that, let's do one thing. Yeah, what we can do is here we will just go to the master, and we go to the configure, and let's make the number of executors 0, so that there will be no nodes available in the master. So if you execute your script, it will be only taking the nodes available in the Docker. Okay, and Docker is our host machine, local machine, right? See here, this machine. So we have our like, this is the node 1, node 2, node 3, like that, and all these nodes are configured to the path, right? We have set this path, Jenkins slave, right? That's This is the path that we have provided. If you see here now, some folder is created also. So that's what we did. Now what we can do is like, okay, now let's go to the this J here, and let's create one. Uh, let's go and create one new. Let's go to the Docker and create one new. Um, let's create something. Okay, let's see what we can do here. Let's create one project here. Okay, so how we can do is like. Um, Okay, friends. So actually, we have created the build executor here, right? Docker is created, and if you go to Docker now, it's saying agent is connected, right? It's connected. It means now master the Jenkins can communicate with this. Now, what we want to create, we want to go here to the dashboard and say new item, and we will create a project. Okay. So let's say we are saying Docker. We just want to see whether Docker test. Like, let's see. So we'll say freestyle project. What does this mean is like, this is a central feature of Jenkins. Jenkins will build your project. So we want to execute some command or something to check that our Jenkins is working fine. So we will say, okay, select this one, the first one. Okay. And then click OK. Okay. Okay, good. So in the description, now we can provide, some commands. So just say docker ps, dock, docker ps. So now when, okay, let me save it first. So docker ps is the command that we provided here, right? So you can provide any command, like some maven command or whatever you can provide here. Okay. Now we will not do much things here. Let's see. Source code management, none. So we don't have any source code management. Build environment, we don't have anything. So you can say here at build step, post elections, we can leave it now. We will leave everything just like this. Just click on the save button. Okay. Now what we can do, now let's build the job. Now we created one job, right? So job currently it's like just one command, docker ps, but it can have like your test case or whatever, right? So let's go here, and you see the docker test. Now you can see this docker test, right? When you build, what will happen? Now suppose this is a test case, for example, and it has lots of command like maven compile, maven run, but right now it's just one command. What it will do, it will see what are the nodes available. It will see, okay, 1 2 3 nodes are available. Well, since these nodes are in my host machine, right? That's what we discussed in this diagram. And we in this is the node 1, node 2, node, and everything is in the slave machine, in the host machine. So docker is installed in my host machine, right? Local host. So when you say docker ps, it will give you what are the running containers, right? Okay. But if you say, suppose there is a master also, we have deleted, but if there is a master, it will try to execute docker ps, but since we don't have docker installed in our master, so it will fail. So that's why we deleted it, and now we have only our Docker, this machine, Docker machine here. Now let's build it. Okay, so let's see. Build now. Okay. So if you see here, it's executing in the first node. Okay, so still it's executing, and okay, now it's done, right? And you can see the output, console output. Okay, so see, building remotely, Docker in workspace, see, Vivek Mr. Docker test, finished, success. Okay, but it's not displaying the result. So let me see why it's not displaying. Okay, friends. So if you see here, we have made the mistake in the command, like we said DOP, so we have to say Docker, right? This spelling is wrong. So let's save it again. Like save it. Okay. Now let's build it again. Okay. So let's build it again. So see this. Okay. So let's go here. Add to dashboard. It's not building it. Okay, it's building actually. So let me see DOCK or Docker PS. That is correct. Actually, it is building. So build history. We have this one. That's the current. Let's check it. Okay. So still it's not displaying this image. Yeah, sorry friends. I think this is the description, right? We cannot provide our command here. So description, we can say like, okay, this is for test, right? Okay, so uh, we can provide the command in the command section. So where is the command section? Let's see. Build triggers. Execute window batch command. Sorry guys. So here we have a build section. So okay, execute window batch command. Okay. So let's say Docker PS. Now apply and save. Okay. Now let's go to the dashboard. So we have it here. Let's build it again. Build it now. So I think it's done. Now let's go to the build history. This one. Let's see. Okay. Console output. Yes. So now if you see, right, so this is successful, and we say Docker PS, and it is saying, okay, we have one container which is running. So we executed this command from the Jenkins, and the command was executed in our local host in the slave machine where we have created the nodes. Okay, so we are good till here. Now next what we can do is like, okay, so we were able to connect the master and everything, and we were able to execute. Now when you do from compose file you need to execute or something, we need to provide some credentials in our Jenkins, so that if anybody wants to connect, they have to provide that credential. So let's see from where we can get the credentials. Let's go to the manage. Here, see, manage credentials, right? You go here and then Jenkins global, right? See, add credentials. Okay, so here you can provide some credentials, username with password. Okay, so what is the username? You can provide anything, whatever you want. Whatever you want, you can provide here. Maybe you can provide same thing that we have in the Docker Hub, right? So this is the user ID that I have used for my anything in the Docker Hub. So I just provided that, and the password you can provide anything, whatever password you want, and then ID you can provide anything like Docker Hub, and then description is like my Docker Hub. CREDMTIL. Okay, so what is this credential? This credential you are providing because Jenkins will try to, when you push the image to the for example, when you push the image to the Docker Hub, or you want to pull the image from the Docker Hub, like Selenium Docker, the project that we have created, it needs this credential to connect to the Docker Hub. So Jenkins will need it so that it can connect to the Docker Hub. Okay, so that's why we are providing it. The password, you have to use the same password and same username whatever you have used in the Docker Hub. So if you go here like Docker Hub, so Docker Hub, let's go and see what is Docker Hub, right? So we have to provide the same credential. Okay, let's log out from here. So here .com and the password. Oh, sorry, we have to sign in. Sorry guys, I did the mistake. Okay, so this is my user ID and the password. Sign in. Okay, so this is the credential that you have to provide so that Jenkins will be able to log in and do the job for us whenever you want to pull or push, right? So that's what we are doing. Okay, so this is the credentials that we have to provide so that it will be able to. Now what is the ID that we have created? Docker Hub. Okay, this when you refer to this ID means you are referring to the credential that is required to log into the Docker Hub. Okay, now we are good till here, right? I think in the next video we will see how we can create a Jenkins file, right? The Jenkins file will be sometimes they will be provided by the DevOps team, but what is the reason we need Jenkins file? uh, we will discuss, maybe we will create and discuss in the next video. Thank you, bye.